Becoming You show with me, your host, Leah Rowling. Do you believe you are capable of choosing your future? Sometimes it takes just one person to believe in you, for you to believe in yourself. If you find yourself continuing to say, someday I will take better care of myself, only to continue living the same day over and over and over again, then you, my friend, are in the right place. I am your biggest cheerleader, inspiring you to become you on purpose and with intention. Are you ready to create a life you love? I'm excited to share with you some big ideas that you can use today to inspire, impact, and influence your life and everyone in it. The Becoming You show starts now. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the podcast. How are you? How was your August? Welcome. Welcome to September. It is my oldest birthday, my oldest son's birthday today. And he is 17. I can't believe it. And I'm just so proud of who he is and who he continues to become. He has this uncanny ability to set such amazing intentions on some huge values like faith and family and fun and friends. And he combines that with this deep dedication and discipline to his sport and to all of the values. And I'm just giddy with who he is and again, who he's going to become. So that's him. Shout out to him. If you see him, wish him happy birthday. I just got back from a dental festival where I got to meet such incredible people. I had the opportunity to speak at both. There's a business of dentistry conference and there's a side gig conference, two very, very different conferences. And one was all about how to do dentistry better. And the other one was how to either get out of dentistry altogether or a side gig as a way to either make some additional money or to kind of tip your toes into something new and exciting. And as I was thinking through what I wanted to present about, I realized that regardless of whether we're trying to enhance our business or get out of it entirely, at the end of the day, we all want three things. And what's interesting is most times when I'm at these conferences, I will ask people if they know what they want, what they really want in life, what they dream about, what they hope for. And too many don't know what they want. And I know I've talked about this on the podcast before, but so many of us, we have stopped dreaming, we've stopped growing, we've stopped evolving. And I want to remind you that if you are still breathing, your dreams remain possible. No one is ever too old or too young or too dumb or too busy or to fill in the blanks. I want you to not only be interested in what everyone else is dreaming for, I want you to be interested in your dreams. So, do you know what you want? Maybe you just take a second to write it down or type it in your notes, right? Can you capture what lights you up? Because today we're going to talk about just that. This duality between reality and desire. A conversation that really delves deep into our heart of what many of us innately desire, but we often find elusive. I'm going to share with you what I believe to be the three fundamental elements that kind of breathe life into our existence, into our experiences and our emotions. And what I find is that no matter what you wrote down by way of want, by way of desire, I believe that they will fall into one of these three categories, okay? So the first one is vibrancy, okay? It's a zest for life that makes each day feel exhilarating, exciting, and joyful. The second is connection. The bonds we share, the kind of the heart-to-heart conversations that kind of keep us rooted and anchored, and meaning, right? This narrative that we craft for our journey, the larger purpose that we seek, the value that we create, thereby having the impact that we have. But here's the question. In an age, right, of such incredible advancements, almost endless opportunities, and so many different social platforms for self-expression and connection, why do so many of us feel this void? Feel this sense of unworth? Feel this sense of not belonging? Why does the life that we're living sometimes feel out of sync with the life that we dream? Right? We're going to unwrap this very, very mystery, right? To kind of go deep into the roots of these pillars and uncover why they might be missing from our lives. This conversation, right, is on my heart to share because I had the opportunity to talk to several people at the festival, and they all kind of felt the same way. On paper, they had accomplished what they wanted. They had the money, they had the business, they had the success, they had the influence, they had amazing families. They checked off all of the boxes, but something felt off. This is the void that I talk about. Like something feels like it was missing. And I think inherently, when we feel like this, one or more of these inherent desires are not prioritized, leaving us to feel like this is all there is, right? Again, I've checked all the boxes, Leah. I've crossed off all the assignments. I mean, I have what most people would want. I have what I thought I wanted. And because I do, I don't even feel like I can complain about it. So why is it that I feel so lost? Why is it that I feel so disconnected? And if this is you, you are in the right spot today. And if you would do me a favor, if you know of anyone else that might be feeling like this, would you mind sharing me with them? Now more than ever, I'm on fire to get a message of hope to help support the shift into the fulfilled life. Right? I believe that we all have good, ordinary lives. But the problem with a good, ordinary life is it's insufficient. It's insufficient because it leaves us feeling unhappy, unfulfilled, uneasy. And it was confirmed more than ever after talking to them that people don't want to have to do more. Rather, they want to be and feel more. They want to have more impact and they want to give. And so I'm going to take the rest of the time to walk through each of these desires, how to better access them, and what gets in the way of the expansiveness that each of us hold. Okay, so the first one is connection. What does connection mean to you? When I think of connection, I think of relationships. And as I teach a relationship, okay, you need to know that I teach it as your thoughts about the other person. Okay, there are three components of a relationship. There is what the other person thinks about you, okay, what you think about the other person, and what you think about the interchange, right? That dance, if you will, between you and that other person. And truly, the only ones that are in your control are the last ones. Why does this matter, Leah? Because of these three, what do we spend the most of our time thinking about? The first one, what other people think about us, what other people are doing or not doing. And remember, it is out of our control. So the invitation is to choose what you want to think about it, what you want to think about them as it relates to the other person. Do you want to think that you have an incredible relationship and that they are amazing and also messy? Or do you want to think that your relationship is strained and you find them to be annoying or inconvenient? Because keep in mind, you guys, your thoughts don't change them. They don't. Rather, they change how you experience them. This is so huge. There is a fundamental need to belong, to connect. And the best news ever is that we have complete control on how we do that. I like to think that there are 3 levels of connection. From personal, right? That's the connection that we have with ourselves. To interpersonal, that's the relationship that we have with other people. To universal, with the world or higher power, or in my situation, God. Your connection with all of these is by way of your thoughts. So my question is, when was the last time you outlined what it was that you wanted to think about each person in your life? A relationship audit, if you will. Maybe you take a minute to audit all of the relationships you have in your life. Are the thoughts that you think about the other person, are they positive? Are they empowering? Do they lend way to deepen, to nurture, to support? Or do they create division and separation? And remember, we explore all of these with curiosity and possibility. So what gets in the way of being as connected as we would like to be, other than, and the big one is how we think about them. That one alone will completely change and shift the way that you experience another human being. But there are some other things that kind of get in the way. The first one is what I'm going to call a digital overdose. An over-reliance on technology, right, can lead to superficial connections and less meaningful, like face-to-face interactions. When was the last time we actually picked up the phone and called someone, as opposed to snapping them or messaging them on Insta or messaging them via text? The other thing that I think gets in the way of our sense of connection and belonging is this fear of vulnerability. Some people are truly afraid of opening up and showing their true selves, thinking that they might be judged or rejected. Newsflash, you are being judged. I promise you. We live in a very judgmental world. Instead of thinking, gosh, I don't want to show up, I don't want to be judged, I just embrace it. I just know I'm being judged. I'm being judged by what I say on this podcast. I'm being judged by my kids. I'm being judged by my husband. I'm just being judged. It's no problem. It's no problem. And some people are going to reject me. That's also no problem. It just really isn't, because there are going to be people that accept me. And who am I going to want to spend my time and my thoughts thinking about? It's going to be the people that are accepting me. The people that reject me, it's okay. I just give them permission, right, to be wrong about me. It's no problem. And so when we are afraid to be who we are because we don't want to be judged or rejected, right, we fine our life away and we don't have any real conversations. Or we just don't feel as if our life experiences qualify us for either celebration or complaint. I kind of mentioned this earlier, like people have it way worse than us. We've got no reason to complain. On paper, it looks awesome. Or it's not good enough to celebrate, as if there is a good reason to celebrate. And when we show up in our relationships that way, we disconnect with others and ourselves when we dismiss our experiences and our stories for not being adequate, for not being big enough, for not being bold enough, for not being terrible enough. The other thing that gets in the way of our belonging is our past traumas. Past negative experiences can make us really wary of forming new connections or maintaining existing ones, right? We use our past as proof that people are untrustworthy, they're unreliable, right? And therefore cut off the possibility of creating opportunities, right? To not only have that reciprocated trust, but to be trustworthy and reliable for ourselves. Overscheduling, right? In our very busy life, we sometimes fail to prioritize relationships, thinking that we'll have time later. Another newsflash, there's no later. And so we don't take the time to ask real questions. By the way, how are you is not a real question. A real question usually solicits a real answer. Now, I ask you here on the show, how are you? Because I want you to tap into how you are. But it's not a reciprocated question. Because you're not here. When I ask you how you are, you can't even tell me. And if you were face to face with me, that's not the question I would ask. But we ask it all the time face to face. And we usually get a pretty superficial answer. And I'm prefacing this with usually because sometimes I'm surprised by humankind. When I was in New Orleans, I was getting on an elevator, heading down to the lobby to head to a conference. And I asked this gentleman that was in the elevator with me how he was. And he responded, grateful. He said, I'm grateful. That's how he was. I'm grateful for a new day. I'm grateful for breath. And I told him that I thought he was incredible. And I asked if I could borrow his reply. What if we all did the same? Similar in questioning. What if instead, right, we could ask, what are you excited about in your day? This is the question that I wish I would have asked him. But I wasn't ever supposed to ask him that question. I was exactly supposed to ask him how he was. So that now when I'm asked, because I will be asked how I am, I can just say, I'm grateful. Are you grateful? What do you have to look forward to today? What are you excited about today? What are you nervous about? What are your wins? What are you hopeful for? What decisions do you need to make? I love these questions. I think fostering our relationships is the way to deeper levels of fulfillment and life satisfaction. And I think all too often we make it an afterthought. So my challenge today is, can you make it a priority as you shift and you redefine your life? The second desire that I believe that is, we want to feel vibrant, right? We want to feel something, anything. Brendon Burchard always uses this phrase, and I love it, to feel the day. I love this. How many of us are just going through the motions of our day, waking up, doing the day, going to bed, to feel nothing? I want us all to feel more vibrant, to have this sense of aliveness, to feel this sense of passion about someone, about something, about anything, about anyone. And this conversation would not be complete without a conversation about the aspects of vibrancy. There is this physical aspect, right? Health, nutrition, well-being. When was the last time that you reflected on how you're taking care of your physical self? Are you eating? Are you moving? Are you sleeping in a way that supports the energy and the attitude that you want to have? Or are you making excuses as to why it's not important? And similar to connections, right? It becomes an afterthought or something that you're going to start Monday, next year. There's also the mental aspect of vibrancy. Just like physical health is important to be intentional about, mental health is as well. I like to break down the mental aspect into 3 C's, right? Continuous learning, challenging ourselves, and staying curious. What are you learning that is new? Where are you challenging yourself? And where are you being curious instead of critical? The last aspect of this vibrancy is emotional vibrancy, the importance of emotional intelligence and self-awareness and resilience. This is the work. When we talk about the work, this is a huge component of it. Everything we either do or not do is all based on feelings. We either do something to seek pleasure, to avoid pain, or to aim for ease. That's what we are wired and programmed to do. And when we know this, we can begin to realize that emotional regulation is required for the motivation that we want in our life. And when we're not more intentional about the choices that we make in our life, it can zap both our energy and our vibrancy. I see so much burnout in the world right now. And when we push ourselves too hard without breaks, without care, without consideration, it can lead to exhaustion, both mentally, physically, and emotionally. So how do we enhance the vibrancy in our life, right? The big one for me is by creating habits that align with vibrant living, working out, prioritizing sleep, eating real food, hydrating, regular self-care, setting boundaries, saying no. This is the way. This is the way to be vibrant. This is the way, both physically, mentally, and emotionally, to feel the day. This is how. This is the roadmap to the how. And the last one is one of like passionate impact, meaning. I think so many of us are making impact, but is it the right impact? Is it the one that is on our hearts? I worked for corporate for almost 18 years, and I know I made an impact. I helped with educational enhancements. I helped with curriculum development, technology platforms at the collegiate level. I ran a sales team. The work I did was important. It just wasn't important to me. I would say all the time, I don't love what I do, but I love what it enables me to do, which is to coach. As a coach, I get to do what I love, what I'm passionate about, and make the impact that I want. It is one of the loves of my life. And speaking of that, little side commercial here, if you have ever considered coaching, whether it is to support what you currently do or as a career, please reach out to me. We are launching a coach certification program, and I could not be more excited. We need many more of us doing this work. Basically, I integrated the dozens of different certifications that I have into frameworks and models and formulas for you to integrate into your leadership conversations with your teams. You could use it to start your own business, or you can actually work within the ecosystem of Shift. If coaching is not for you, right? But you know of people that would be interested, please, please, please share them with me. We have 1 million doctors in the US. We have 20-some thousand coaches. We don't have near enough people doing this important, literally life-changing work so that people can step into massive levels of success and happiness. Okay? The fulfillment derived from making a difference and living purposefully is something that one can really only know when they feel it. Regardless as to whether or not coaching is on your heart, the important thing is to be committed to finding what is. What is your passion? What lights you up? What's important to you? And please do not discount it, because if it is on your heart, I promise you, the how is in your head. At the conference, I ran into an incredible woman. She stopped me after my presentation telling me that I inspired her. No, I'm quite sure it was the other way around. She has a heart and a passion to help lead the charge to fight for better insurance for veterans. In some cases, as it relates to dental insurance, it's not existent. How can that be? How can the people that fight for our country, for our freedoms, not have the appropriate insurance to care for their health, their oral hygiene? She told me that I inspired her to move forward with this mission. I told her that she was the inspiring one. I want to challenge you all to do the same. What is on your heart? How can we channel that passion into impact? This is what we will do in our program Shift. This is what we teach. This is what we teach in the certification program, exactly how to translate the passion that you have into actionable steps and initiatives. So why don't we do this? Why don't we tap into our passion and make the impact we know we can have? A quick couple of things, okay? We're afraid to fail. We lack clarity. We lack what we think is the resources required. We already feel overwhelmed. We have limited beliefs about what we think is possible because we continue to look to our past instead of our future. Great. Certainly, many of these factors contribute to why it is that we don't pursue our impact with passion. But would you just spend a few minutes today to reflect on just a few of these? How can you be more intentional with your relationships? How can you commit to feeling the day again daily? And how can you channel your passion to impact? Would you just spend a few minutes to reflect on these elements in your life? And maybe you share your experiences. What's working for you in these areas? Right? I say this a lot, but the only thing anyone is a master at is their own experiences. And sharing them with others is a really good place to start to making the impact that sits within. Share it with me. DM me. If you're not already in our Facebook group, Shift, I invite you there. This movement requires all of us. I like to envision a world where each and every one of us live in vibrant unity, passionately impacting the world and elevating the world with love and light. So thank you for being here with me. And until next time, go make your impact, go make your difference. And I love you. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. You have been listening to the Becoming You show with me, your host, Leah Rolling, where I share big ideas to inspire, impact, and influence your life. Tune in every Friday at 11 Central on transformationtalkradio.com for your morning cup of coffee, the hug you never want to end, and that inspirational message that you felt was written just for you. Each show is inspiring you to become you with purpose and intention. For more information or to connect with me, visit www.leahrolling.com.